Thank you. So first, to say big thanks for all of you who has joined to watch our case study regarding the DDoS protection and our company, which is basically NLB Group. So I will say just a couple of words regarding the NLB. So NLB is one of the leading banking group across the Adriatic region. So we have 7 big members as a banks. So we have other strategic and important members like leasing. And also we have IT company, which is basically in Belgrade, called NLB Digit, and a lot of smaller companies. So what story we have here? You know, DDoS protection as a DDoS protection, no one really thinks about it. It's same like insurance until this was really happening to you. So to be honest, we have one huge DDoS attack. It was during 2020 across the whole group. And basically we have been a victim of blackmail. So really blackmail with really money requirement and so on. And during that time, we have managed to find out some way with our ICTs, so basically to mitigate the current attack and so on. But we have questioned ourselves, was it good enough? Really, was it good enough? Then, 1 year after that, I will not mention the country, but one of the countries who are basically politically exposed, have the same attack. And basically they have bring our e-services down. Even before that, we have some improvements done with ICP, but it looks like this is not appropriate enough for us. So what we have done, we have performed additional exercise with them. We have sent them a lot of things, how we want to do it, what is needed from our side, because basically when we are not online, we are losing money. So we have figured out, it looks like we have figured out everything, so they have put their protection on. And I must now mention one thing. It's really great that we, in our team, we have a team called Red Team. This is basically the pen testers, the ethical pen testers, which are capable to perform DDoS simulation. So we can send email to ISP, is it good, is it safe? Yes, we've done everything what we have asked. Yes, let's try it. We can generate only 3 gigabytes of network traffic, and we can bring down our site immediately during the working hours. So after that, it was natural to create, let's call it risk-based approach, how much money we will lose if we are down for some time. We can calculate hours, we can calculate days, weeks, and so on. And based on this calculation, it was, let's say, obvious that we need to have appropriate protection with appropriate personnel who will run it. Then, after it, we can start the RFP, and all major bidders was, let's say, involved. And I must say one thing, we are not the company who is basically taking everything what is, let's say, cheapest. No. We have here made our own decision based on technical possibilities and how this tool was fitting to our IT security landscape. So one risk was like pure online services or stuff which all of us are using each day, like VPN services and so on. But as a bank, we have, as I mentioned before, critical services like e-banking and so on. So basically, we have decided to combine those 2 protections. One is DDoS, second one is web application firewall. Why we have decided to do that? Because we want to protect everything what is publicly visible and exposed to potential malicious behavior. So after the RFP, we have concluded where we are, let's say, earning the most and so on, what we will protect. And regarding the, let's say, the high-level design, we have concluded that we should be mostly focused on automatization because, you know, all of us, we need to sleep. Sometimes you don't have a great guy in DDoS protection who's working in your SOC 24/7 or regarding the web application firewall. And then we have come to our decision. Our decision was basically the Radware. It was one of the bidders who was basically fulfilling all requirements, but what we have, let's say, saw, and what we have liked about Radware is the expertise of the personnel who has with us, let's say, these technical touch points or whatever, when we have defined all of our requirements. So, since I'm the manager, of course, and they are the ladies and our colleagues who knows way more than me. So please read my colleague Natasha Marinkovic, who will lead you with technical details and technical processes. So Natasha, please.
So yeah, basically because of the situation we had across the group, not everything was on premise. We had applications outsourced, hosted on cloud and so on. We decided to go with cloud. And we decided to take a hybrid approach for DDoS. So actually get the on-prem boxes and get cloud DDoS. Now I will explain a little bit about cloud. It's based on DNS redirection. We have applications almost all of our applications onboarded there. And the traffic from the end user to the DNS goes to cloud. Is decrypted, inspected, and processed accordingly. So it's either forwarded to the destination, modified, or dropped based on the predefined rules. And what we really loved about this approach is that on one module we have all the apps, not all of our subsidiaries. So we can basically monitor everything from one spot and react fast and in accordance with the needs. And it's based on positive protection model, so you pretty much define the rules, and if there are any exceptions to the rules, then you can add those exceptions. What we also loved about the cloud solution is that it comes with the DDoS protection, so if your apps on-prem or outsourced, it doesn't matter. If they're under DDoS attack, it will be mitigated, so you don't really have to worry about that. And there is also one nice thing, and that's the bot manager. We saw bot attack on one of our apps in one of the countries, so we started evaluating that, and so far it's pretty good, because it really distinguishes between the good and the bad bots, and we are using the good bots for the monitoring of our apps. You know, are they available? Are they up and working? And so far we didn't see bot manager bottom, so it does its job pretty good. So this is how the dashboard looks like for our application. You can see that we have a lot of applications onboarded. You can see the security events, and from this dashboard you can deep dive into each application, into each event, and actually see what is going on. Do you need to react, maybe change something, or is it overblocking us, so on. And this is how the security event looks like. These are the actual packets, so you can open them and check what's inside. So we recently had some SQLI attacks, so we basically could go to these packets and see what is going on, and if we need to react, block something, change the rules, and so on. And this is the configuration dashboard where you can configure the rules. So as you see, what we really love in the end about the cloud bot is that it has functionality of your on-prem bot, but it's in the cloud, and it's pretty configurable. You can add different rules. Is it on the network layer or do some manipulation with the packets based on the actual payload and so on. And about DDoS protection, we decided to go with the on-prem boxes because we have a lot of, let's say, sufficient capacity to actually make sense to put boxes on-prem. We have the expertise to actually operate the boxes. And when the boxes get overwhelmed, we switch to the cloud easily. And we saw that the onboarding to the cloud was pretty easy. We tested it, it works. So far I can say that we're really happy about it. And activation of the defense on the cloud is also pretty easy. It's either done automatically when the link gets overwhelmed to a certain percentage, or you can do it manually. And because of the situation we have with our prefixes, somewhere we have like full /24s, and somewhere we don't. We're using the combined approach, somewhere we have always on cloud with single IPs, and somewhere we're actually letting Radware advertise our C classes and then redirect all the traffic to the cloud. So it basically, when the traffic gets redirected to the cloud, it gets scrubbed and returned to our premises via GRE tunnels. And as I said, yeah, we tested it. So far it's working good. And also, what is good, through some connections, boxes are monitored, and the GRE tunnels are also monitored by Radware 24/7. So, for instance, we had a situation where one of our ISPs went down, and the GRE tunnels went down, and Radware contacted us and asked us, "Is everything okay? Why are your GRE tunnels down? Are you under attack?" So on. Can you confirm if everything's okay or not? So that's good. They knew that something was going on, and they notified us. And now let's see why we actually love Radware more than competition. And one of the reasons is DDoS, or actually behavioral DDoS protection. I actually, before this job in NLB, I used to work in a very big regional ISP where I worked on DDoS protection. I built it there from scratch. But I was working with another vendor, and I had this huge issue when there was a DDoS attack and the device just wasn't blocking it. I had to see why it wasn't being blocked, really dig into the packets, do TCP dumps, and see what is going on there, and make some filters by myself. So this is where DDoS is really helpful. It does that job really. But before it actually starts mitigating, you have to tune it, so to say. It has to learn about your traffic to actually be able to detect attack and mitigate it. So it learns your baseline, but not only that. Not only it doesn't only count the packets. It also learns about rate invariant, and I use this picture to show you specifically what I'm talking about. So let's say you have TCP traffic, and it learns about your usual TCP traffic. But not only that, it learns about the flag distribution of TCP traffic. So when the attack happens, not only the rate will change, but also the distribution of the TCP flags in that rate will change. So it will trigger an attack and start mitigating. And when it starts mitigating, it will create a signature on the fly. So this is from our system, actually, when we tested the device to see how it will create, how it will mitigate. So as you can see, it recognizes the pattern in the traffic, and the actual attack was blocked completely. And what is also good with this DDoS is that if vectors change, and when I say vectors, I mean like type of traffic that is in the attack, it will adapt automatically and create new signatures. It will detect that something is wrong, that the attack is not blocked, and it will reevaluate the signature and try to block it. And this is how the actual attack looks like. This is from the analytics that comes with on-prem boxes. And what I actually also like about analytics is that it can show you the samples of all the data, so you can actually check what is going on. And there's also an option to download the file in PDF format and open it in Wireshark to actually dig deeper if you need to check what is going on and maybe adjust your DDoS protection. What we also saw as a benefit for Radware DDoS protection is that it comes with a lot of protections out of the box. So it blocks non-RFC compliant packets like Christmas tree, for instance, Christmas tree attack, or source of destination 40 and so on. It has signature protection, so it recognizes a lot of attacks that are automated. Let's say using some well-known tools or well-known UDP floods like NLB Radware, like here, Netcache server, like Ubiquity, like Quake, and so on. So you don't have to worry about that to make filters yourself. It is already there. And one more feature that is very good, has proven to be very useful, is that this ERT active attacker suite, it is updated automatically, and basically they're threat intelligence. They're not knowledge base. They collect all the info about the current attacks that they've seen in like past 24 hours or so, and they put it in the database. So if they see something from those addresses coming to you, those packets will be blocked. And this is one of the features that I actually liked just under just a little bit less, let's say, than DDoS, but it's really useful. And that is that you can define, you have to define these DDoS protection profiles. But each of the profiles has its own threshold, let's say, on which what I saw with the other vendor when I was working with them is that you put everything in one mitigation template. So if the attack is detected, the mitigation kicks in and it goes through the entire template. So for instance, if you have like UDP flood and you have TCP protection checked, it will start also doing the TCP challenges, which is not necessary. It can drop the legitimate traffic, and it should only drop UDP or the attack, or UDP attack traffic. And here it won't happen, because if Defense Pro Box sees the UDP flood, it will trigger only the appropriate profile. It won't challenge TCP connections because it doesn't need to. Or, for instance, if you have a TCP-based attack, but it's maybe TCP reset flag flood, it will trigger out-of-state protection profile, but not challenge TCP sessions, so it reduces the chance to actually drop the legitimate traffic. It's granular. What is also very useful here is that you can define very, very granular traffic filters. As you can see, we find here a traffic filter for this new UDP flood, SLP. And the interesting thing is that as soon as we defined those, we actually saw budgets now. Not too big, but still some sort of free attack or whatever. And because we can define a lot of things here to be tracked and well. And what is also useful is that you can make your own custom regular expression. For instance, if you see something in the payload, let's say you have HTTPS flood, but there is something in the payload that is in common for all that flood traffic. We can put it here in this regular expression and it will get shown. This photo I actually really love. It reminds me of a colleague that said to me once, do you know how I feel when I see DDoS attacks? On our system, I feel like this. So like I'm protecting myself with this small umbrella. And every time I see DDoS attack, this reminds me of how I sometimes feel and how we felt actually in NLB until we had the appropriate protection. Because when we had those DDoS attacks, as I just mentioned, we were really powerless. We could only sit and wait, although we knew what was actually going on. So my advice to everyone is don't think that DDoS attacks won't happen to you. As I said, I used to work in ISP, I used to work in DDoS protection. I saw thousands of DDoS attacks every day. And it's not a matter of if it will happen, but when it will happen. It will happen. So as Nebush said, think of the DDoS protection as an insurance, just to be safe. It's not too big investment. And in case you need it, you will be happy to actually have it. And one thing that we were asked about a lot when we were thinking about going with the vendor and actually investing big in DDoS protection is, why are we doing this? Because we have the DDoS protection from ISPs. But the truth is, ISPs use different technologies. They are often understaffed. Their staff maybe doesn't have enough knowledge. Some ISPs have DDoS protection, but only on the paper. We saw that things happened. They really didn't have any DDoS protection. They just shut us down, stop advertising critics, and thought that everything is solved. But of course it wasn't. So if your business is really important to you, if you're down and losing a lot of money, you really should think about investing in proper DDoS protection. And about CloudBuck, as I said, it has all the features of actual on-prem buck, but it gives you the flexibility to move your application wherever you want. So one day they can be on-premise, the other day you can move them to the cloud, outsource them, or do whatever you want with them. So that's it. Do you have any questions or comments, or maybe not now, but we can discuss later if you're not here today or tomorrow.
That was it from our side. Of course, we are willing to answer all of your questions and so on. But what also is here crucial to mention that if you buy DDoS protection, it doesn't matter if it's Radware or whoever. I suppose you will go with Radware because it was our decision also. You need people to work on it. So you don't buy, just to, yeah, tool will be great help. but you will not be 100% sure or protected if you don't have appropriate people. So this is also a thing where I want to mention the Radware and their approach on this matter. So basically, we have, I believe, this including my introduction, to say that Radware was approaching to us, and they have give more than appropriate education to our people. So, you know, this is really like additional value to our team and our company. With this, I will conclude this presentation and say thanks, guys, for being present here. Thank you very much.